Hi, I'm Keith Vona, co-founding member of Richmond Vona. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer and worked at the Diemolding facility in Canastota, New York, please give us a call. We can help. I personally know this facility inside and out, every aspect of the plant, every type of material used there, and all the processes in which you would have been exposed to asbestos. Now, Diemolding was a small custom mold shop, again, located in Canastota, New York. They used phenolic molding compounds to mold a variety of household items and specialty items. Some of those items included pots and pan handles, washing machine agitators, and a particular specialty product was known as the Ford reactor, which was a transmission part made out of plastic. Some of these phenolic molding compounds, especially those used for high heat and high impact strength, contained asbestos until the early 1980s. In particular, the asbestos used in the Ford reactor program was more toxic than any other form of asbestos used. Although Diemolding was a small shop, unfortunately there have been numerous mesotheliomas diagnosed out of this facility. I've personally represented several molders who worked there for extended periods of time. Unfortunately, you did not have to spend a large quantity of time at Diemolding facility in order to have enough asbestos exposure to develop mesothelioma later on. I had the privilege of representing an individual who only worked there for 1 month as summer employment from college. Also, I had the privilege of representing a truck driver who merely delivered the asbestos-containing molding compounds to the Diemolding facility, and that was his only source of asbestos exposure. If you worked at Diemolding at any time before they ceased using asbestos-containing molding compounds in the early 1980s, chances are you were exposed to asbestos. It doesn't matter if you worked in compression molding, transfer molding, or injection molding. It doesn't matter if you worked in the receiving department, the preform department, the molding department, the Ford reactor program department, or the finishing department or pack out. You could have been exposed to asbestos at any one of these locations. For example, if you worked in the preform department at Diemolding, you would have been responsible for taking large barrels and bags of asbestos-containing molding compound and dumping them into a huge hopper at the top of a preform molding machine that would take those compounds and compress them into small weighted hockey pucks that would then be transferred to the molding department for molding. Following the chain of the process, as a molder, you would then take those pucks, put them in a small oven to preheat them before they went into a mold. Then you would place them into the mold and run it through the molding cycle. After the molding cycle was complete, you would take those molded parts out, knock off any excess flashing, which could cause exposure, and more importantly, take an air hose, which was procedure, and blow out the mold cavities to make sure that there was no remaining molding compound left in there before the next cycle. Again, this would cause exposure to asbestos to you as a molder. Finally, when you get down to the finishing department, those molded products from the mold shop will come to you. As a person in the finishing department, you would take those products, throw them into something called a wheel abrader that would tumble them around again to knock off all that excess flashing, creating large amounts of dust that you would be exposed to. Here at Richmond Vona, we have over 25 years of experience litigating asbestos cases and have personally handled multiple cases out of the Diemolding facility. So if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with either mesothelioma or lung cancer after working at the Diemolding facility, please give myself or John a call. I know we can help.